Okay, should be back. Still haven't figured out how to get this dumb thing resized the way I want it to be, but apparently something changed. So we will cope. Are we in our game yet? We are. Who are we battling? Watsy. Hello, friend. All right, we would love to play first. Thank you. We'll move this over here. And then the chat's supposed to go there, but every time I click on because I'm running it on a Mac, every time I click on this, it brings it to the front and covers up the chat. So I'll put something there in a minute. In the meantime, yeah. This looks like a keeper. I wonder if... You guys can hear me fine, I hope. Guess I should be polite here. Red, huh? All right, maximum beatdowns. Boom. Am I going to play the SEG in Seattle? I think there's a GP that weekend, so I'll be out there covering that instead. Just got off work. Love a recap of the draft. The draft, we took blue and white cards. Our deck is what I would describe as mediocre with an ambitious and perhaps reckless splash for Tassiger the Golden Fang. So there you have it. Yeah, we're just doing it, though. Can't ask for much more than that. Yeah. Boom. 2 mana 3/1 followed up by a 2 mana 1/1. I've got the sideboard for red. Yeah, it's red green, but it'll hit something here. I do have that. A morph. What's up? Yeah, I'm just gonna offer a trade here, I think. Deliver the beats. No trade. Interesting. All right. Yeah, this is a preview. It's not quite live yet. Pop out. Maybe if I just move it up here, I can see it. Ire Shaman. What did you exile? Oh, you exiled a mountain. Can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. All right, well, she's going to get in there for some beats. I accept. No beats. Whenever, blah, blah, blah. Right, so it's a 2/2. I'm not sure why we don't beat down there if I'm in my opponent's position, but I think it means I just get to get in here. I think I'm fine trading Dromica Warrior for either of these. Also have the option, if I want, of playing Whisk Away, but I think I'd rather play Student of Ojutai first and then go for the Whisk Away after that. Playing a Whisk Away here has some benefits. You can kind of strand a bunch of cards in my opponent's hand, but I think I'm just going to go for the beats here and then run the Student of Ojutai out there. Oops, I don't know what you're oopsing. One powered flyers. Boom. Okay, so this is getting a little scary now. Opponent just refuses to block. But I don't know. All right. Not going to block us. Just no interest in it. We're at 20. You're at 8. Now this deck looks quite aggressive. Ire Shaman, Ambuscade Shaman, bunch of angry shamans. Wow, they're both orc shamans too? Both have the same facial expression. Both have the same sword in their hand. Huh. Wonder if they're related. Do you think if you called LSV Scott that he'd find it annoying? Well, since it's not his name, yes, he probably would. Let's see. Can't be blocked except by 2 or more, so I must double block. So if I do this, it doesn't work. All right. I will take my medicine. Now what happens? Crater Elemental. So red tap sack does 4 damage to a creature, which kills any of our creatures. And Formidable, which we are at least another creature away from getting. So not that worried about it, though. It does get to sit down and block, which is decent. Doesn't mean we don't attack here, though. I think we still just ship the whole team in and maybe even just whisk something away. The other option is to play Echoes of the Kin Tree this turn. If we had drawn a mana, I would have played one of our 5-drops, probably this one, to try to force him to use his Crater Elemental so that we can set up Strong Arm Monk and play these 2 things. Because even though Echoes isn't really a potent spell, it is still a non-creature spell, which will trigger the Strong Arm Monk. So that's something for down the line. As it sits now, I think we just attack with everything. If we do that, our opponent will probably finally trade off the Ambuscade Shaman for the Dromica Warrior. At which point, if we really want, we could also just whisk away here instead of getting Echoes down. It seems even better, I think. So let's rumble. Let's engage in the rumbles. Yeah. You bet you can. All right. What are you, shy? Get in there. There we go. And we are going to proactively whisk away something here. It's actually an interesting decision on which one. Ambuscade Shaman costs the same amount as Crater Elemental. They're both 3 mana. So we're not changing that dynamic. But the Crater Elemental... that's the only block? I don't know what's going on here, but... Gain a couple of life and whisk you away. Basically, my thinking here is that my opponent's got 5 cards in their hand. And we're ahead on board and ahead on the race. Also, mana is being tapped. Though this has Summoning Sickness, so that can't happen. Collateral damage. My head. Whoa, that's aggressive. That might have been a misclick. That was very aggressive. My audio's low. Let me fix that. You guys let me know if this fixes it. All right, is that better? Does that make me louder? Oh my god. 5, 10, 13, 15? Holy crap. But we don't actually die. In fact, we win. Still, that was crazy. Like if we hadn't have played Whisk Away and gained the 2 life off of Student, we would have lost. Also, I see now what my opponent was going for. Trying to power out those 2 gives this thing, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Oh, still not enough mana to make that work. All right, but still. Wow. The combo finished. Damn. Duly noted. We'll be careful about that one, but holy crap. Okay, let's begin sideboarding here, Magic Online, now that we're 40 seconds into it. All right, so what do we need to do here? This Dromica Dunecaster could be good, but I don't love the idea of fearing, random dash cards and leaving up mana for that purpose. That doesn't seem great. Erishan Cleric could be okay. I do wish it traded with basically anything we saw, which it doesn't. The life's okay. I think I do want Lightwalker just as another random 2-drop to help block, basically. Like, it looks like if the game goes long, we'll be in pretty good shape. Ancient Carp, it could be your day, buddy. Ojutai's Breath, maybe. Definitely want Encase in Ice. So these are the 3 cards I wouldn't mind bringing in against this opponent. Negate. Negating the collateral damage. Is that good? Yeah, that's pretty good. Artful Maneuver could probably go. Let's see. Warrior. Echoes. Okay, fine. Look, I won't waver on Tasigur, but I'll go back and forth on Echoes. Some matchups, I think it actually is pretty good. This is not one of them. And it might not even be good in the matchups I think it's good in because I still haven't played it. So, yeah, we'll cut that one. Strong Arm Monk, Taxation. What do you guys like? What are you guys saying? Slow cards like Echoes seem super bad here. Well, glad somebody agrees. Is my volume, did it go up too, by the way? My audio's low. Am I just dead? I was almost just dead. Dunecaster actually seems good. Prevents dash and him from beating down too hard. Yeah, that's what I was saying, though. It's one of those things where I'm not really sure that what I want to be doing is leaving up. Ooh, crap. I have to cut some stuff. All right. I will cut whatever. That's probably my best card, but whatever. I need to submit something here. Took a long time for Magic Online to get over to this screen. Volume really? I listened to it. Maybe you should turn up. Maybe it's your speaker or something. I don't know. Because the last LR seemed quite loud. Sorry to interrupt, but you... yeah, of course you can. And thank you. And you're nice. Then of course you can. Okay, is this a keep? We have Negate, Lightwalker, and all of our colors. I'm going to mulligan this one. What is... Rebound is blue. It's interesting. I'll keep this one, I guess. This one is probably slightly worse than the last one, but probably slightly better than going to 5. Okay, volume's good. We're happy. I'm happy too then. How does Elmer look? Can you guys see him on the thing? I can't see. He's very vain. He likes to know that he looks good. I can't explain it, but I don't know. I don't know who I'm playing against actually. So I think if game 3 happens, we're going to cut this and bring in the Carp. Wow, that's aggressive. Jeez. Looking to block. I'm going to use my Encase in Ice on something that's harder for me to interact with. This is very easy to interact with generally. And by the way, 6 sideboard, right? This is why we brought it in, so it could block cheap creatures. What year is it? I got it last year, 2014. It's an iMac. It is a bit of a beast, to be honest. I'm a big fan of it. Check this out. It's this one. Or, yeah, late 2013. I bought it last year, though. It is a tank of a computer, no doubt about it. But I found myself needing that with doing the video stuff and, of course, all the audio stuff for the podcast. And then I do photography also. And, you know, it's like at some point I'm just like, well, I'm using this thing enough. Oh, that's a good one. Not here, but it's a good one. It is a Mac, yeah. I use Macs. I like Macs. Why is this thing up now? What is going on with Windows today? Just casting it. Okay. You know, I haven't done any altars in a while. I did some for the Kickstarter last year. There was a tier on that. And so I did 3 or 4 for that, which was kind of cool. What is this guy? Oh, okay. So we get to encase that in ice, I guess. Man, I've got a 2/4 in my hand. All this thing is a 2/2 after this. I think I'm just going to take my medicine here. It's not worth it. You had a lot of issues running Win 8 with parallels. I'm running Win 7. It's fine. I turned up my volume already. Everybody else said it was fine, so I'm just going to leave it for now. I hope you can hear me okay. I don't want it to be too low, but mess with it already. Student. On 8 gigabytes of RAM. Well, that's a problem. I mean, Windows 8 and Mac OS both want, 4 each at least. Like, that's maybe even more. Mm-hmm. Oh, a German viewer. We can speak German if you want. Postillon. Schönen guten Tag, Postillon. Was machen wir hier? So we've got an interceptor that feels like its lot in life in this game is going to be to do just that, to intercept. It's going to block. And it'll probably end up blocking that Reckless Imp. If that's the case, I can just play Dismal Backwater and play it face up because it's just going to block anyway. Otherwise, yeah, I can play Backwater and then play that. Otherwise, I can play it as a face-down morph. Play it a plains and leave up encase in ice, but that's just doesn't seem likely to hit whatever this is. I mean, who knows what it is. And if I draw a 6, I'll be a little bummed, but I don't have that many of those in the deck. Yeah, I'll go for that, I guess. The writing on my hat? I don't even know. It says... Oh, it's the name of the company that makes the hat. I like this. We're getting all German in the chat. Hier sind ja einige Deutsche. Genau. All right. Cool. Not attacking. Do I play tiny leaders? No. I haven't tried that yet. But it does seem more up my alley. I have one commander deck, but I actually can't stand playing commander with like 4 or 5 people because it's just too confusing. I call it like cell phone magic because you're just like, yeah, you done yet? Let me know if I'm dead. And I don't really love that. All right, so looks like our play is going to work out for us here. As we're going to get a chance to encase an ice, gain some life, and lock down a heel cutter here. So not bad. But anyway, when it comes to Commander, I do like playing it, though. I like the format. I just don't like playing in bigger groups. I like to play with 1 or maybe 2 other people. And it looks like Tiny Leaders is a little bit more up my alley. It, you know, doesn't have that whole thing where you're supposed to be like, don't play really good cards, or, you know, I hate that whole thing. Waldesbibliothek? That's barely German. Okay, take our medicine. Wie lange? 10 Jahre. It's been a long time now. Oh, he dashed it. Crap. I saw somebody say that in the chat. He like he has dash. I'm like, yeah, so what? All right, well, that sucks. So if he's going to dash in, well, if he dashes in again, I think that's whatever. We will take a nice hit of damage here, though. We're going to need to draw either one of our big spells or a few non-creature spells in a row. But if he dashes it in again, I can trade one of these. He can make this not. Sorry, he can make this not block, and then I can trade this off for it, which I think is okay. Even though I will admittedly be taking a rather large chunk of damage in the process. GP Providence in June. Yeah. Yeah, I should be there. Should be doing coverage there, I think. All right, so this thing comes back. Curse you, Goblin Heel Cutter, for having dash. And for me not reading that you dashed it. All right, Team Ball, and then he makes this not block, and I trade, and I take 6. Yeah. That is not good. Oh, this. So what does this mean? Still just blocking here and taking 6, but how bad is that? Is there a pump spell in my future? Kindled Fury. Oh, wow. Yeah. Yeah, this is just a beating now. Now we're like basically dead. Ugh. Especially because now our non-creature spells don't actually get us anything. Yeah, things are looking very grim here. Yeah, we are the dead, as they say. Where's that channel harm that we passed? Opponent is not playing around that. All right. Okay. So can I get to sideboarding now? There we go. All right, so let's get Great Teacher's Decree out. So the Dunecaster, what do you guys think about the Dunecaster? Yeah, I haven't been paying attention to my clock. When I stream, I just read the chat more than anything and end up forgetting all that stuff. A card like Glint, Ojitai's Breath, Updraft Elemental. We've actually got a decent amount of things that we want to bring in here. The Ancient Carp I think I want for sure. Like, it's probably just better than this guy. Or this guy. The Interceptor is mediocre. The Silumgar Sorcerer seems fine. Lightwalker, Dromical Warrior. This seems good. Let's see. Updraft, Whisk Away. Student is great. Lore Master is mediocre, but castable at 3, so probably keeps the slot. Maybe Strong Arm Monk. What else are you guys recommending here? Grateful Dead. Okay. Did I say that? Maybe I said that. Command Zone Podcast. Oh, those guys are great. Yeah. I love going on that show. Glint. We've seen removal. Not a ton of it. Just want to make my deck a little more streamlined here. I think one more Updraft Elemental probably does a good job, teaming up to block. And maybe I do just want this Cleric after all. I'll try the Dunecaster. Yeah, we'll try that. We lost the second game, but won the first. And no, Tassiger's in. Yeah. That's much better than our hand last time. Boop. Getcha. Snape, keep indeed. I just want to thank you for not drafting blue control deck in your lazy confused. You're welcome. That's funny. Becomes blocked by a creature? Right. So that's why this card's good. Didn't know our opponent had that, but we will definitely take it. It's only blocked, right? Yeah. I think we can just go ahead and attack here too. It's a trade I'm willing to make. And also, I think this Updraft Elemental will do a fine job of holding back the Kolagon Aspirant here. I'll try not to encase and ice a dash creature this game. That's a play that I am willing to make. Oh! Well, this looks pretty straightforward. I think we just encase in ice and attack and then play Lightwalker. So, Alesha, you're getting very sleepy. Wait, is it not full screen? I think it is. Yeah, you know what? I think I can just go ahead and rumble here. I think it's worth trading 1 point for 2 points on the backswing. All right, yeah. Opponent has decided that this race does not favor them anymore and is going to start blocking, and I can't blame them for that. All right, this gets actually kind of interesting now. If we draw a land, we're going to have Enduring Victory, which is going to get Lightwalker in the sky. It's pretty good. I'm still willing to trade off Lightwalker for a lot of things here, but that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Watsy got the Alesha. Yeah, must be nice. The old whitelist. Hardcast Heel Cutter. Well, we didn't draw the land, but we did draw Silumgar Sorcerer. I like that. And yeah, I still think we're ahead in the... Let's see, we're at 16. We're going to bring our opponent down to 13. Yeah, I think Silumgar Sorcerer does a good enough job. We can ultimately trade it off for Heel Cutter if we want at some point anyway. Everything on the column with your video is not... Oh, no, I know. That's a different thing. Here, I can just full screen it. That's probably just... There. Is that better? Normally I put the chat down there, but it doesn't... I'm having issues with that right now, so I cannot. All right, so Dream World opponent plays a creature pre-combat that I get to counter. Dream World not acquired. So this is already a fairly interesting decision point because I can just flash in the Silumgar Sorcerer and block here, which is a pretty strong play. I still will have a decent little Air Force going. Additionally, I can just take the 3 damage and then flash in the Silumgar Sorcerer on end step, or on to counter a creature if my opponent plays some big bomby creature. And if they don't do anything, I could just flash it in and just start beating down. I mean, that increases my clock somewhat dramatically, and I've got Enduring Victory for the heel cutter at some point anyway. I just wonder if I want to use it as a removal spell. It's not a 2-for-1. You have to sacrifice a creature to Silumgar Sorcerer. It's not a 2-for-1. I think with another Updraft Elemental, though, I think I'm fine just taking it here and seeing if I can counter something else bigger. I mean, look, the heel cutter is one of my opponent's strongest cards and something that I'd like to get off the battlefield. But all right, so now the big question. Do I flash in the Silumgar Sorcerer here? It is worth a card. And I do not have to sack. I can if I want. So if I flash it in, I'm going to attack for 5, and then I'll have Updraft Elemental as well, along with Enduring Victory at some point. Yeah, I think I'm just going to play it. This game seems to be pretty tempo-based, and with this Enduring Victory in my hand, I think it's a good spot to be in, to be ahead. Okay, so yeah, let's get in. Rending Volley. Can't be countered, deals 4 damage to that thing. Fair enough. That happens, and I'm just going to pass. I can add 1 power to my board, but I can also do that by just playing Enduring Victory on the heel cutter here. All right, so Lightwalker is now a 3/2 with flying, and oh, Student. That's good. 4, 8, 12, so 3 turn clock, but of course I just misclicked. It's weird. It's being different today. I can't really explain it. I don't think we're going to get too punished for that, but it's very annoying. I don't remember the last time I've done that. Backwards hat guys. I guess that is who I am. Yep. Play you. Could have won last turn. Now, who knows? Keep our fingers crossed, I suppose. I do not stream often. It's mainly a time thing. Yeah, you're right. That is true. Opponent misclicked in the first game as well, so we'll take our medicine. I suppose it is worth it to go ahead and attack with the student here as well. Our opponent can kill, but I don't know. Let's see. They can go block, give it first strike, kill, and then kill our other thing. Whatever. All right. Well, we won. Yeah, I can't figure out why this thing isn't doing what I want it to. Magic Online feels a little laggy. I think it's because I'm streaming, but I'm not sure. I'm definitely not a frat boy. So normally what I can do is resize this without it keeping its... I don't know why it's trying to keep its aspect ratio. That's not something that it normally does. on parallels. And I can't figure out why. Normally I could just move this over and it would resize. And then that way I can have the chat there like that. And then the game would go all over to the edge. Hey, you bet, man. Drunken Vike, you're in. No, this is Brooklyn Nets hat. They're the basketball team I follow, since the team that I love was ruthlessly ripped from the city in which I live in 2008, and so it left me without a team. This, though, is an LR shirt. Check that out. Sweet, right? Yeah, I think I am going to open it in Windows. These shirts, by the way, are going to be available for sale soon on Channel Fireball. So I'll be making an announcement for that, but I have already shipped them down to them, and they're working on getting the spot on the site and that kind of stuff. No, if I put it in compatibility mode, then Magic Online doesn't work anymore. This mode. How do you guys like my stream? Who wants to play Magic Online? It's like iPhone Magic Online. It's too good. So here is Moto. I can't tap my creatures. That's great. That does make me happy. But again, I just don't know why it's hanging onto this thing. Monitor capture. I think that's what I have it on display capture. That must be the same thing, right? I did take this photo, this background picture. I did. I took that with actually with my small camera. It was not at Alki. That is at Gasworks at night. It is stunning there at night, especially in the spring or summer. Yeah, I tried that too. Dragon from the bottom, still not wanting to do it. Try changing the Windows resolution. Yeah, see, it's supposed to. It's supposed to just do it, but like it changes automatically. The weird thing is that it's always been like that. Why after so long with Card King did I? Oh, that was mainly because I wanted to do the show with Luis, and since Luis is such a big part of what they do over at Channel Fireball, it wasn't really possible for me to have him on the show with the sponsorship deal that I had set up with Card Kingdom. So I had to go a different route to make that work. I love Channel Fireball. I've always respected and liked what they did for the community and as a store. So they were one of the ones on my short list of places I'd actually go. There's some places I would not accept as a sponsor. I just wouldn't want to work with. Obviously, Card Kingdom, still love them. They're absolutely fantastic in every way, really. You play poker. Do I play any video games or card games? No, I hate games. I don't play any of them. It's weird. I don't play board games. I suck at them. I don't like them, generally speaking. I really like games that I get to play against other people more than games that you kind of do your own thing on. I don't know why. But I love poker. I love Magic. I play basketball. That's why I was almost late, is because I was playing basketball today. I'm going to play again tomorrow. But yeah, I don't know. I for some reason, there's just no other games have really caught my attention. And for some reason, I don't like to sit there and play games just sort of messing around. I don't know why, but I don't really have as much fun doing that. People always tease me about it because they're like, oh, you're in gaming. And I'm like, well, I don't actually like games, but it's kind of weird. Am I still friends with TSG? Not really. I haven't talked to him in a while. So I should probably bring up the deck here somehow. Yeah, I have a pro team I cheer for basketball. Right now, it is the Brooklyn Nets, which are, well, they're horrible. But, you know, I'm one who kind of sticks with my team, and I don't like to be a fair weather fan. Now, to be honest, though, I'm really a Seattle Sonics fan. That's my team. I grew up watching them. Me and my dad used to go to the games. I had the posters. I wanted to be Sean Kemp when I played basketball in high school. My number was his number. Like he you know, the Sonics are where my heart lie, but unfortunately they are not here anymore. And Seattle's in this holding pattern, trying to get a professional basketball team back here again. And once they do, I will be there. But I missed basketball. I kind of took a couple of years off of watching the NBA after they left because I was so frustrated about how it all went and just disheartened with the whole thing. And once they come back, I had a good run with the Nets. They were fun to watch, but I'll be back on the Sonics if that ever happens. The Seattle Sounders, they're great. I mean, super, super cool team. I kind of feel like they've taken the slot that the Sonics had here. I mean, if you look, the Sounders they're the Major League Soccer team here in Seattle, and they're super popular here. Huge crowds, and people are really, really, really into them. And I feel like that's because, I mean, we have a lot of Seahawks fans and all that stuff too, but I think part of it's just because we don't have the Sonics, you know? Yeah, they were in Seattle before. Sorry, Jen. Yeah, me too, man. Super bummer. Hopefully we get him back, though. In Germany, soccer is the holy grail of sports. That is true. I was lucky enough to be in Germany in 1998 during the World Cup, which was really fun because my friends, of course, at the time we were just out of high school and really, of course, into soccer, and I hadn't been exposed to that level of soccer fandom before, and I got to watch a bunch of the games at my friend's house over there and started rooting for Germany then, and I still root for Germany in the World Cup. I'm a football fan. If you mean American football, yeah. I mean, I root for the Seahawks. I'm not as hardcore as most of my friends. You know, you travel in these kind of poker and magic circles, and everybody plays fantasy sports all the time and are all kind of crazy about that. And I'm not as much. It's just too much upkeep for me. So I'm not a big fan of those. So, you know, compared to my friends, I don't know nearly as much. But compared to your average person, I probably know a lot more. Seattle needs a hockey team. Not sure if that's true. Yeah, I know. Football. I know. Oh, what, you mean like actual football's popular? No way. I've been to Germany, dude. Soccer's definitely the holy grail of sports there. Yeah, hand egg. Seahawks fans here in Seattle are a little scary. Yes. We did get there, Swiss cheese. We had a much better draw than we did in game 2. And even though we made another silly mistake, so we are 2 out of 3 games, we've made 2 ridiculous mistakes. One of them due to not paying attention and the other one due to not paying attention. So we're on a real heater today. But we did manage to win the game anyway, because we were in a really one. Ich hab ein Coingewalt. Oh, wow. The Norwegian can type very good German. That was good. Don't apologize. I think that rule still stands. No edged weapons is still in effect. Oh, I should do that too. So let's do this. Hate Internet Explorer. I never even use it. Yeah, whatever. It's too annoying. If I'm not interested in games, how did I get into Magic? My poker friends were playing it. I played it when I was younger and then stopped playing for a long time. But I liked it back then. I didn't really know how to play or anything, but I liked the cards and I liked playing. And then a couple of my poker friends, namely Ryan Spain, who's not, I mean, he's just my friend. We're like a big brother type guy. But anyway, he got me playing again, and it kind of hit that little nerve, that gamer kind of, I want to, God, there's something about this game. And then I started asking him questions like every single day on IM, and we just sat there the whole time, and he started teaching me how to play. And eventually, well, you know what happens. You get hooked. That's how this game works. You get totally drawn into it. Commentary with Wizards. I got really lucky, to be honest. I had done the podcast for 3 years or so. And it had a good following, a good reputation. I was proud of where the podcast was at. And through that, I met Brian David Marshall, BDM, and I traveled down in 2011, I think it was, to GP Austin to play. I was at the point in my Magic arc where I was looking to start traveling to play more, because I was starting to get more confident, and I was having played a lot more, and it was really starting to feel like I was getting the game a bit more, and wanted to expand out to bigger tournaments than the local ones. So I started traveling to GPs, and I went to GP San Diego and then GP Austin. And when I was at GP Austin, I bumped into BDM, who I had met a couple of times kind of randomly, and we had drafted together and got along real well. And he was doing coverage there. One of the first GPs that they did video coverage at was Austin. And they put me in the feature match in the first round. And then, which was really fun for me. I mean, this is like my second or third GP ever. I've only played 5, I think, but anyway, at the time it was my second or third, and I was like, it was really fun. I ended up making day 2 and cashing the tournament. And after I was done, I went over to BDM, and he was like, "Hey, do you want to come in the booth for a few rounds?" And at the time I was just like, whoa, like that sounds fun. And so I didn't really, know what to make of it, but I went in the booth and hung out with Rich and BDM, which was, I mean, for me, I had watched Magic coverage for a while, a year or so at that point, and I was like, wow, this is sweet. I'm in the booth with BDM and Rich, and I did pretty good. Like, I was comfortable in there, and cameras and stuff like that never really bugged me. So I was like, yeah, this is fun or whatever. And as it turns out, the coverage boss was on site at the event. They were looking to ramp things up. So he said, "Hey, are you interested in doing GP coverage?" And I said, I am. And so I started doing that. And then I did a couple of GPs, and they needed another body on the coverage team for the Pro Tour, which they were also expanding, which is the lucky part. And so I said yes, and I've been doing it ever since. Eventually, I quit my office job to go do it. Vintage Super League or Standard Super League. Oh yeah, I would do those. If Randy needed somebody to jump in or whatever, I would do them. But I got to say, the vintage stuff, I'm not the one to commentate on that. I love vintage. I have some vintage decks. After the VSL went up, I started buying vintage cards for Magic Online, and now I can play, most of the decks in the format, and I enjoy playing it occasionally. I love watching VSL. I never miss it. But I don't know enough about vintage to commentate on it. It would be guesswork or me. Like the threshold, if you're in the booth, we got 35 seconds, is to, I need to be able to set up my expert, the person sitting next to me, to make them look good and be able to say things that are relevant. But I need to know what those things are in order for me to do that. I have to be the one I need to know it and then set them up to really explain it. And in vintage, I don't think that I just wouldn't be good enough to know. So it wouldn't be good. Any good runs, cashes in a poker tournament? No, I almost never play poker tournaments. I basically only play cash games. I sometimes play tournaments at the World Series when I'm down there. I go down there every summer for 2 or 3 weeks to play the cash games. But sometimes I'll play in a tournament because I'm dumb and somebody will talk me into it or whatever. And I always regret it. I don't like playing tournaments like that. Oh, yeah. God, Rashad, go away. Don't have time for that. All right. Okay, so do we have a keeper here is our first question. We're on the draw. We probably do. It's in between, but we're running 18 lands. We've got we've got at least 2 spells that we can play for just straight up colorless. And then if we draw an island, we can play a Silumgar Sorcerer as well. So I think that's a thing. We get to leave up Negate here, which probably doesn't make it a thing. I'll probably do another vintage video. Not for CFB. I just do them for fun. They're not like meant to be instructional or anything like that. All right, well, we've got our first very important draw step. See, I clicked this. Why are you not listening to me, Magic? There we go. I think I'm just going to run the Lore Master out for the Bloxies here. I could run the Silumgar Monument to set up the Student of Ojutai, which blocks this thing fairly well, but these colors have so many different combat tricks, and I also just don't want to take the 3 damage in the meantime, so I'm just going to see if I can get a trade out of this, and we can, so that's good. Circle of Elders Vigilance, and you can tap it to add 3 if you've got enough mana anyway. That card's good. I'm just going to play the Student. I can play the Silumgar Monument and leave Negate up, but I think I'd rather do that after I have the Student. Ugh. Good morning. Stayed up too late last night. What is... Oh, that's a Defender? Do not care about that guy. And this Morph... I probably do care about the Morph. You know what? I can actually get away with this. So I think here... I think I just want to play Monument and leave up Silumgar Sorcerer and Negate. By the way, this Great Teacher's Decree has been terrible both games. Probably just because of the build of our deck, but we should note that. Yeah, I invite people. I do it all the time. Well, I am busy, but not for the reasons that you stated, unfortunately. All right. Not a great spot for us, but... So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 3, 7, so he's 1 away from... What does this one do? Oh, that guy's good. You get 2+1/+1 counters, and you can throw them around as well. I think I'm going to Silumgar Sorcerer and just counter that. Yeah, I like Decree with our initial build, but it's definitely gone down. So how do I do this? I exploit this thing. I like that card a lot. Just a simple card, but it's effectively a 3/3 for 3 mana, which is already fine. Our opponent still gets to... Oh, but didn't want to? I guess that means that this is a morph that I should know what it is, but probably just don't yet. All right. Well, we've got Enduring Victory and Negate available, so... Negate main, unclear. I will let you know. I'm putting it in primarily to find an answer to that question. I don't know how good it is main in this format yet. You know, my general take on Negate is that I prefer not to main deck it, but it's not a disaster if I do. You know, it's right on that borderline for me of like, oh yeah, I ran a Negate in the main. But some people like really like it, and other people just won't. They just view it strictly as a sideboard card, and I'm kind of closer to the middle, and my hunch is that this format bumps it kind of just on the other side of that, and that's what I'm trying to find out. I don't have 4/4 Monument available. Ah, good point. All right, well, this is an easy block. Given that we have Huh. So I guess this is the new Wooly Loxodon of the format. 7/6? Sure. All right. So that worked out very well. We're even left with a big creature, and we're able to go up on life. So I want to see card draw, something like that. No, your move. Yeah, it could be the Lockstad for sure. Unclear currently. No, you can't do this to me. Elmer, look away. That is brutal. Well, I'm not gonna fire off Will of the Naga yet. Even if my opponent wants to attack, they're only getting in. Actually, they're not even getting in at all. So no attacks from opponent, but I will have to use the will to start buying me some time here. It's not a great spot. This is where we kind of want to see Tassiger pop up. Oh my goodness. I just don't know if I can bring myself to negate this. Our opponent's on 0 cards, but the monument is really only good for Tassiger at this point, which would be great. It's one of our best top decks. But I feel, but like we've got 26 cards left in our library, and it only affects 1. Maybe 2 if you count the other land so that we can activate it. That is aggressive. I am going to be at the GP in Toronto. You can come up anytime that I'm not on the air, and I'm happy to sign your card. Just going to let this happen. If we draw Tassiger, then I'll be sad, but whatever. Oh, boom. That's great. So I can do it now. I think I'm just going to Will of the Naga here. Don't really need to, though. It's just that I can't really cast anything reasonable after Enhanced Awareness anyway. So I think I'm just going to take a hit here from the Elk Herd. And, I'm at 24, and then I'm going to play Enhanced Awareness and kind of figure out where I'm at on end step. Opponent's top decking, so it's not too bad. What is this? Why are you doing that? Okay. All right. All right. So let's gain some life. All right. It's fine. A little awkward. I could use one more land to have to play Updraft and Ojutai Interceptor and keep up Negate. If I play the interceptor face down and double block, then the elk herd gets through the student, but leaves my Ojutai interceptor. That seems fine too. I just wish I had another 2-powered creature or anything, because this one's actually kind of one of my better ones. But I think I'm willing to make a trade there. I also have Will of the Naga plus negate here. I could just use the turn to do that. It's not even a bad idea, is it? Yeah, I'm going to do that. So this thing... It's actually a tough decision. Yeah, that's the thing. If I'm double blocking, I just don't want to get blown out. I like it here. It gives me another chance to draw basically any creature in my deck and try to keep... Because this is a good way to win the game, my Interceptor. I really don't want to take another hit from these, and it gives me a lot of extra time here. So I think it's fine. Sky Resolve. Is he in? All right. All right. Now I can flip this thing up, still have another shot at a card, and maybe even make this thing into a race. So if I just cast it here and rumble with the team, he's probably blocking down here, but I get in for 6, 7, 8, 9 in the air. And then I make him block this thing too. Yeah, that seems fine. Also, I'm just gaining a ton of life. I think I've gained like 10 life total after this thing rebounds. It's insane. Yeah, 9 in the air for 2 turns isn't quite enough, unfortunately, but should be in a fine spot. This thing can now attack into Stampeding Elkherd on its own as well. Hi. All right, 1 point for negate. So Return of the Earth, Sandblast are what we've seen so far that we can get off of it. That's pretty good. Opponent definitely needs a removal spell here. All right. All right, so we've got Encase in Ice for sure. Ojutai's Breath, Glint are options. Still think I'm going to take out this Great Teacher's Decree. And I think I'm going to bring in the Dune Caster. I think that when I see 5/5s, that's where I'm finally willing to start paying the 2 mana a churn pretty regularly. I think Ojutai's Breath is good too. Let's see, what are you guys saying? Oh, this is some ad thing or something. Oh yeah, you bet. We can do it right now, in fact. Well, we definitely want the Encase in Ice, because that's just excellent. We haven't drawn our sweet cards yet. The Breeze Dancer's pretty sweet, but the Foremost has not made an appearance. That's the one I really want to see. That one's quite good. I'll cut the Echoes here as well. Yeah, this is starting to feel like a scenario where that card just isn't going to hold up its end of the bargain necessarily. Yeah, Echo's too slow, agree. It is the better option. Guess I'll take that guy out. Since so many of his things are bigger anyway. Yeah, we didn't see quite enough removal, I don't think, to make Glint worth it. It was right in that borderline, probably close-ish. This looks like a keep. We get Palace Familiar, which sometimes trades, but usually just ends up chump blocking for something. And then hopefully can help us find our mana, especially since we just drew Erishan Foremost. Get this guy down, and then worst case, we can leave up Negate. No, that's not a good case. Going deep, huh? Okay, well, kill my creatures, I dare ya. This could get ugly, though. We are definitely going to need to find some mana pretty quickly. We actually haven't drawn any, planes or anything. So, one time. That happened to me too, Aerith. I'm not sure what was going on. That was last week, though. I don't know if it's changed now. So opponent is ramping out. Beautiful. That is lovely. Archers of Karsi, you say? We draw a swamp. All right. You got an Archers of Karsi. Proceedings have been halted. Rebound does trigger prowess. Yes, both times. Oh man, that's too good. Citadel Siege, and since we're mana screwed, we don't play anything and then end up getting to just negate it. We like to call this playing perfectly and being rewarded. That's what that's called. Or just getting very lucky. Whoop. All right. So is it worth it to use Artful Maneuver to get through an Archers of Karsi? I don't think so. I think that Erishan Foremost is just a better target for it anyway. And we're just not really under much pressure. Now, it could get a little interesting because what would be worth it is if I attacked with both, and if our opponent blocked Jeskai Sage, then I would pump the Familiar, kill the Sage and the Archers would trade, and I'd get in for 3, which I think that would be worth it. But my opponent's more likely to block Palace Familiar. If that happens, I get in for 2 and I trade these off, and I get to draw a card off of it, which is decent. The problem is we're really not beating down at the moment anyway. I mean, the Archers of Carsey, like whatever, it's holding off a little bit, but I think I just don't want to do anything here. Is Citadel Siege the most rage-inducing card in this cycle? Yeah, easy. That's annoying. And his friend is annoying. So double Herald here for our opponent. That could be a thing. Now I wish I did get rid of the Archers of Carsey, though. Maybe I'll be able to now. Maybe I'll just play a dragon. Opponent's down to one card, so, you know, if they got that stupid sideboard card, then so be it. Otherwise, let us rumble. So this thing is 4/4 flying, but for given our hand, it's going to be a 6/6 or maybe even an 8/8. So opponent is going to need to deal with it pretty quickly. Yeah, I know he's got Return of the Earth, but if he plays it, he plays it. What am I going to do? Harbinger of the Hunt. It's interesting. Could potentially take out our Palace Familiar. Or our Jeskai Sage. But there's a reason why we run those ones. What the... God, that's tempting. Could go like block, double block. Just block one of them. If I block like this and my opponent is just planning on regenerating, it just seems like it's a decent situation for me. They regenerate this one, lose this one, and I draw two, or regenerate this one and just lose this one. Now, if they've got a combat trick, I could lose my dragon. I think I'm just going to risk it. I don't think that these are long for this world anyway, because the Harbinger of the Hunt can just snipe off one or the other without really any downside for our opponent anyway. Yeah. All right, so we'll make this trade. This is acceptable. This is going to do a good job of reloading our hand and helping to get us to some heat. And it did just that. So 5, 2. So I can leave up Artful Maneuver and Enduring Victory here. That's not bad, assuming my opponent wants to start attacking. Now, if they don't, I look a little silly. So I think, let's see, how many times can you activate this? 1, 2, really only up to 2. So that's not doing anything. If I play a creature on the ground, you can activate for 2, but then lose your bear because you won't have mana to regen, right? Regenerate, and then 1, 2, well, maybe. 1 land away from that. Because I'm thinking about playing Erishan Foremost and Monastery Loremaster both, but if my opponent goes land, then they can go... Oh, they need red. So red, 1. 1 red, another mountain. And then regenerate this and kill both of them. So yeah, that's actually just not acceptable. If I attack, they're going to block with the archers, force me to use Artful Maneuver to get over it. which I don't mind doing. And then I can leave up Enduring Victory for this. But what I really want to do is get the Foremost down and then leave up Enduring Victory to get a counter on that. So I think what I'm going to do here is attack, use Artful Maneuver to kill the archers, and then just suck it up and use my Enduring Victory to kill this Harbinger of the Hunt. It's taking it. So you bring in Archers of Karsi, but don't block my dragon. Maybe I just get in for 8 here. The shields there down, and I think maybe just getting my opponent on the defensive might be good. I don't know. This is weird. Yeah, that Harbinger of the Hunt's a good one. Makes things really awkward in the late stage of the game, like where we're at right now. The removal spell here is real bad for us. But assuming that the Enduring Victory resolves, even if we don't have a board, we'll be able to rebuild and not have to worry about this Harbinger wiping our board. So it's a thing. Oh, no, you know what? They didn't mention that. Thank you. It says it errored. Sorry, Shedge, I didn't see it. Sometimes I miss this stuff. Pretty bad at streaming. Did it resolve? It did. I'm going to update the title. All right. Well, I hope the title updated. I attempted to. You bet. So what's the big follow-up here? Ah, that guy. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, make this guy huge. Wonder if he's going to chump. Get back that Artful Maneuver. We're up against Julian 23. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure who that is. Streamer from somewhere. It doesn't untap. What does an untap? What are we talking about? Tail Slash. No, there's a lot of cards that get us here, or would have gotten us last turn. But this thing kind of messed up everything. I'm much happier with this board, even if our dragon were to die. Opponent can move a counter. Oh, it's going to go down to 2. I like that. I'm going to go back up, and then I think I just want to play Foremost plus Lore Master here. Face down Lore Master. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can face up Lore Master next turn, get back Artful Maneuver. All of this at instant speed, by the way, and cast it. And as a fan of value, that appeals to me. Now, the Aerishan Foremost, unfortunately, is facing down Saltwood Road Quartermasters, which is kind of annoying. But the main thing is that we can get the Breeze Dancer through the Archers of Carsey. That's a big deal. Uh-oh. Don't Tarkir me, bro. 2, 4, 6. Oh, yeah. Oh, Foe Razor Regent. So you're going to fight something. So you can eat Aerishan Foremost, which is good, admittedly. Also could just eat the Morph. I would prefer to have the Foremost die. But my opponent might just be like, oh, that Morph could be scary. I'll kill that. But leaving the Foremost alive is okay for us too, I think. I was going to eat the Morph. And then this thing becomes 100/100. Gets 2 counters. So not quite 100/100, but right in there. Yeah, that's tough. That's a nasty 7-drop right there. We're going to need some punch here. I don't think the Artful Maneuver is good enough on its own. And the good news is we do still have Aerishan Foremost, which is still great. Yeah, this might actually work. We're going to need to find some non-creature spells, though, to make it work. And that's not it. So these can both get double strike when I attack. But I don't have any realistic attacks here. Bummer. This guy's good. That was bad. That was bad for us. I don't think he forgot his defender had reach. I think he just wants to set it up so he can trade. It's risky business, but Island is in fact a non-creature, you know? That is true. I did ask for a non-creature. Well, no, I said non-creature spell. I need a non-creature spell. Savage Venma. Alright, well, it looks like we've hit Dragon O'Clock for our opponent here. Yeah, it's super rough. Yeah, more dragons indeed. Well, we did just draw our best spell. Ojutai's Breath and Will of the Naga? Does Will do it here? Tap this, kill you. Okay. I like the plan where we tap 2 mana and then kill our opponent. I want to make sure there's nothing I'm forgetting here, though, right? So it's that thing, and then we just rumble. And in fact, we can attack with the team. Yeah, that seems good. That does not seem bad in any way. Yeah. It's funny, I was trying to think of, well, what cards can we draw? What do we want to draw here? And then I just got both of them. Oh, yeah, those ones. All right, so rumble mode. And I'm just going to battle with the team here because he doesn't have any good blocks, and they're all lethal. And this guy gets double strike, too. All right. And onward we go. So we made it into the finals. That's good. I think the best thing about our deck is that we have not drawn Tassiger yet. There was one spot where we wanted him, but otherwise that was it. Yeah, that was fun. That was good. I'm glad we top decked. I like top decking. Doesn't always happen, but I think that was the best thing. What is Haumfon? What do you want? Oh, am I playing you? Humph. Oh, we are. Rematch. This happened last time I played against Humph, and he kind of smashed me. He played Shamanic Revelation. Like, the beginning of our game was I play a morph, he plays a morph, I untap and hunt the weakest morph. And his morph that I killed there was Sagumalar. I'm just like, this is going to be easy. And then we stalled out, and he ended up having another Sagumalar too, and then also Shamanic Revelation. He gained 6 or whatever, or gained 8 and drew 4 or 5 cards, and that was it. So winner gets the 3rd spot of the Porkbone Oath. I'm in. All right. That should be fun. It is a little unfair because Paul is significantly better than anybody else in here. I want to beat him with Tassiger so bad. I want to get him so bad with Tassiger. How's Kenji doing? Is he getting kind of destroyed here? Paul drew the nut against Kenji. That seems bad. If it would be more or less interesting, it would be less. I mean, you take away the hidden information part of Magic and it just becomes a big math problem. And if you've ever watched a stream of people doing math problems, not that interesting, it turns out. So, yeah, I don't think that would be that fun. LSE wants to see Paul lose. I doubt that. He roots for Paul, and he teases him, but he loves seeing Paul do well. Yeah, I mean, I think he wouldn't mind the ammo he gets. And in something like this that doesn't really matter or whatever. All right. So what do we got here? An easy keep if there ever was one. Oh, this is too good. We're going to totally get him with Tassiger. Yeah, he's just teasing him though. Bird go. We need 2 or 3 creatures and or a black mana source, and we're all set. I would trade here. He doesn't have regen yet because he doesn't have formidable. Even though I want creatures to be able to attack with. Oh, really? Good God. If I attack with both, he probably just takes them because he wants to kick the crap out of me. If I play Great Teacher's Decree, maybe he trades Warrior for Dragon Scarred Bear, which makes a lot of sense. I probably don't want to do that. Just play the Interceptor and try to set up a whole bunch of damage coming in. I could also just block here. I think I'm just going to end up whisking away the Thunderbreak region at some point, or trying to set up a Will of the Naga or whatever. The other plan I can try to do is try to slow everything down here and play Ojutai Interceptor face down, pass the turn, take a huge chunk of damage, turn it face up, and try to block the Thunderbreak region just for a straight-up trade, which is about as good as you can expect from a card like that. That might be worth it. Well, I'm going to take a big hit of damage either way, so I think what I'm going to do is attack with both. And this gives me the chance to whisk away something here, or even just if he wants to block the familiar, I can just let that happen. It's making my Great Teacher's Decree look a lot worse if that happens, but yeah, so it goes. Yeah, whisking Thunderbreak does deal us 3, but it sets him back a lot. And this is a trade I think I can live with. If I draw an island, I might change my plan for Will of the Naga to try to get us ahead. Especially if he plays a big fatty here like that. Enduring Victory is a good one too, but unfortunately our mana is not cooperating. So I can flip up, hit him for 5, take 9. Yeah, none of this really works out how I want. So I'm just going to sit back here. I'm not going to start yelling. Everybody said they can hear me fine. I don't know. I turned up the volume on the thing. Otherwise, I don't know how to do it, or something's weird. Yeah, it's up all the way on that too. Yeah, this card on turn 3 or whenever he cast it, or turn 4, is just absurd. Super scary. All right, he's just going to develop his board and pass here, or is he going to still rumble? All right. So we get to do this. Blue? Ooh, we got it. That's pretty good. So 5, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13... So I think at this point the Ojutai Interceptor can just attack. And I'll leave back the Palace Familiar. And I'll pass the turn here, and then I'm going to decide if I'm going to fire off this Will of the Naga. Might just be the play here. I can lock down these two things and try to set up a squeaker with Great Teacher's Decree or Enduring Victory. I take 3 from that. Making the damage race a little worse for me. Does nothing. So he's going to flip something up, but he's got to get in for 11, which is really a ton of damage here. And I think I'm going to go for it. I'm just going to go for Great Teacher's Decree because I kill him in 2 turns. I basically say go, and he's got to, like, kill me. He totally could, though. My other option is to just attack with the Ojutai Interceptor. That puts him to 10, and then I can hit him for 6, 7, 8, 9, which is not the same thing as 10, though. If I play Enduring Victory, I will actually be able to kill him. All right, I think that's the play. So I think I just attack him with both here. See what he does. Harry Bowmasters. Bummer. So he's going to block the Interceptor, and I have to decide if I want to whisk that away or just Enduring Victory it. And I think I need to just Enduring Victory it away, because he just gets to cast it again anyway, and it's still a big issue. So let's kill that, get a counter, get in for 2, and try to set up the win after, though. It feels like now that these are doing that the whole thing, it's going to be a lot harder. Tormenting Voice. Yeah, he's missing mana. Yeah, he found a removal spell too. That is going to make things very difficult. He gets these guys back as well. I can't figure out a way to win. These creatures are just huge. Like, I can put Feral Krushok back on top, but he's going to have mana to flip up the Morph, which will beat our Palace Familiar anyway. Attack for 2, play 3/3, chump block, take at least 6. It's just too risky too. I think I need to leave Whisk Away up. So I whisk away this thing, I block here and just pray. Yeah, we are in a very bad position. Yeah, still couldn't cast Tasigur in that case. I guess I could, but didn't do anything. All right. Yeah. That doesn't seem too bad. So we whisk this away, which was Survivalist, which is the naturalized one. And we chump block. And he's got 2 lethal creatures. Yeah, we're dead. Actually, yeah, everything I do just uses up all of my mana. All right, so let's see if we can try to make this matchup. He's green, red, huge stuff. That's bad for us for sure. So what I think we want to try to do here, though, is go kind of under his deck, like punish him for tapping out for those big things. So I think we want like these type of cards, and then try to be as aggressive as we can be, and with the knowledge that that isn't particularly aggressive, just because our deck doesn't have like a big punch. But I think that's the kind of thing that we want to be doing here. I mean, if he stumbled a little bit, we actually had an opening in that game, but he didn't. The big reach creature was tough and all that. So, all right. So once again, the Echoes of the Kin Tree comes out, which we're 0 for 3 on that one. That one was just ended up being pretty rough. The Decree, I think, is exactly the type of card we want. Oh, why do you do that, Magic Online? So let's get this in there. Oh, the Encase in Ice for sure. The Breath, and then maybe another Will of the Naga, though I'm not convinced that we want both of them. So these are all possibles. Yep, you bet. So we can tap down his stuff and try to keep some pressure up. That none of this is really amazing. This is just going to be a tough one for us to win, I think, in general. What are you guys saying? Updraft, no good here. Yeah, it's kind of never that good. I think it's decent here, though. We need flyers to kind of combo off with Great Teacher's Decree and maybe even Artful Maneuver. I think Dromica Warrior's mediocre. Yeah, it runs smooth. And I don't know why the volume is low for some of you guys. I turned it up. I can turn it up further. Is that better? Is that even the thing that does that? How about now? Is that louder? Maybe that was the problem. I don't know. It was almost up all the way. Now it's up all the way. But let me know. All right, I got to cut a couple of things here real quick. All right, I'm going to cut Enhanced Awareness because I think we need to be more proactive. And the Tactician. All right. That is better. Okay. That's weird. I have to have it up. I mean, check it out. It's up all the way. It was like right here, and I moved it to here. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. All right, let's see if we can get a aggro draw. Yeah, we got exactly that. Well, at least close to an aggro draw. We got our most aggressive creature at the least. We will need our combat tricks to make that work, though. You guys are funny. Yeah, that's really weird. I don't actually know why the difference between, 80% or 85% and 100% would make it like totally listenable, but apparently that's the case. I'll take it. Yeah, John he loves that stuff. Oh, yeah, you could be right. It could be the fact that people are watching both streams. All right. So opponent Cheon has mulligan to 5, giving us a glint of hope here. Though this hand is quite nice. If we survive removal for our Erishan Foremost, I mean it beats down. So I'm being a little whiny there. Oh wow, going off. Should we send a message? We should, right? Yeah, get in there. But none of these are what I want them to be. Warriors. That's fine. Boom. comboing off here. Triggering our Jeskai Sage. And rumbling for 4. Or 6, I mean. Alright, this should be game. Can we actually activate this? We almost can. We really are comboing off. Poor Paul is going to his discard step now. Yeah, we're doing it. Just like we drew it up. All right, well, that was easy, but it also wasn't a real game. So is there anything that we want to change? Maybe this Lightwalker needs to be in here. The other card that it kind of has my eye is Sidisi's Faithful, just because he is casting like such huge things that if we can get out to even a remotely quick start, you know, we can keep him away from that kind of stuff. I don't think I want it more than Student, but I might want it more than Updraft or, you know, something like that. Let's try that. We're changing the stuff on the set review for constructed resources around a little bit, just because, you know, Eric and I are kind of feeling out how we want to do things. It's, you know, each co-host gets to have their own input as far as how the shows ran and what, you know, how we approach different things, and so we're kind of experimenting with it. It's always a work in progress. Well, I don't think with John it was really LR style either, though. We still only did the cards that we chose. Sage chumps, then draws a card. It does that. And he is digging. Well, not our most aggressive start, but it's not bad either. I like Ojutai Interceptor into Unmorph. Especially when we can just attack right in here pretty cleanly. Definitely going to try to pick a race fight here and see if we can't race our opponent. Ugh. Yuck. Well, I think the play is still just to go ahead and flip up the Interceptor and attack. This thing doesn't do anything against the Regent, so that's not a real plan. And if he decides to block the Morph thinking that it's an Interceptor, then we get kind of screwed because, I mean, Beastmaster's fine, but I'd rather just try to make this into a race, I think. Though this is not going to turn out well if this Regent gets to keep beating down. Yeah, this is just not going to turn out well either way, to be honest. The palace, or the Great Teacher's Decree is going to be, you know, the big key to this whole game here. It's going to be the one to really kind of decide how this game ends up. Well, that helps too. So this is the reach guy. Ugh, yeah, that card is so good against us. Ugh. Oh, man. Because what I was going to try to do here is go Dunecaster, or like in this case, Erishan Foremost Palace Familiar, and then Great Teacher's Decree. And that might still be a plan, but the Ojutai Interceptor getting traded off here makes that a lot worse. I do still think that is what we're going to do, though. The question is just, do I want to attack here or leave it up to block the Thunderbreak Regent? Yeah, he's drawing twice a turn. I mean, we're falling behind very quickly here. The problem is now he's got 2 4 toughness creatures, and we can't really do anything about it. Yeah, Ojutai's Breath or something. I think that's what our plan is to build out our board here and then just hope to rip. So I think I'm going to go Foremost and Palace Familiar. Gosh, I just don't think I can attack here. Because I need to find Breath or Will of the Naga or something like that. I could also just leave it back to block the region, in which case he might not want to attack that too. And I would block. So yeah, I'm just not going to attack with the Interceptor and hope to get lucky here. All right. As much as I love just sitting back on my best attacker and watching my opponent draw 2 cards a turn, here we are. We have a 1 or 2 turn window probably, and that might not even be an open window. So we'll see. Dunecaster... You know, I could have cast Dunecaster to cast to tap the Bowmasters instead of the Palace Familiar. That was an option too. Maybe it's better. I don't know. It's tough because I can't cast the Decree and the Dunecaster unless I draw a land. So it's kind of awkward. Tail slash. Awesome. Yeah, we're pretty dead here. You are probably going to die. You are correct. And his deck is insane. I agree with that as well. Come on. That's just ridiculous. He just takes out our whole board state with 1 turn. What a monster. No way I'm letting you have that. How dare you? So nothing really works here still. I'm going to try to set up getting Silumgar Monument to block the Regent and then keep this thing tapped down. That's, I think, our play. I got to tap my mana better than that, though. I just don't think I want to take 4 here. Come on. Well, that is going to do it. Look at that board state. 5, 5, 7, 6, 4, 4, 3, 4, and drawing 2 cards a turn. Yeah. Also 2 huge reach creatures too. All right, we give up. GG's. Can't beat Paul. Way too good. Man, that deck was insane too. Yes, getting humped indeed. That was fun though. New set's pretty cool. You know, it's kind of weird going back to 2-color sets. I don't know if you guys have had a chance yet to draft this set, but it's pretty cool. And it looks, you know, it's a gear change. Yeah, not like this. That's right. Both Luis and I lost in the finals, didn't we? That was still fun to watch, or fun to play, I mean. How are the chances of coming to Europe to do... probably not super likely. We have the European coverage team in Europe that Rich Hagan heads up over there, and they do a great job. So there's not a big reason to fly me over there. You know, I do the ones over here in North America, so not a great chance. But I'm going to be, I'm going to be in Brussels next week for the PT, for example. You know, so I do make my way over to Europe for Magic stuff, just not usually GPs. You bet, Marl. Thanks for joining. That was really fun. I actually like streaming a lot. I just don't get a chance to do it that often because my schedule ended up being super busy. Because basically what happened is, like, after I quit my job and I started doing the Magic stuff for my income, I was like, I don't have a paycheck anymore. I got to do everything I possibly can. So I just started, like, I just never said no to any work ever. And then I started doing my own stuff too with the podcasting and the business and all that. And I'm just like, I still never said no. And so now my schedule's like super full, but I like it like that. But it also means that, like, chunks of 3 or 4 hours to set up the stream and get everything going and to make it how I'd want to make it is, like, kind of tough. So yeah. Is the format faster than I thought? A little bit. It's a little bit faster. It's not a lot faster though. It's like, you know, I kind of got used to cons, and cons was not fast. It was like medium, but could be fast. And this one feels like it's like generally a little bit on the faster side. And so, you know, we'll have to make an adjustment there. Thank you. You still prefer con and fate to triple cons. 5-color was just too fun. Yeah, that was pretty good. I agree. I can't wait till this set actually comes out on Magic Online. I'll definitely be looking forward to doing actual drafting with it. I think this Friday is when it's pre-release. I'm going to have a video up on CFB as soon as I can for that on Friday. So I'm looking forward to that. Constructed videos, probably not. I still play Constructed. I mean, I have to keep up on it for the GP stuff, and for that I've been playing. I mean, the new set's not out, but we can look if you guys want at what I've been rumbling with. I've been helping my buddy Woodrow play test. He's getting ready to do a regional PTQ that he won, and it's standard. So I've been helping him out, and I have been playing this, which needs a couple of the new Siddisis in it, but it's pretty sweet. That's definitely my kind of deck. I've been jamming that a lot. How do I feel about the Dash deck? It looks sweet. The new banners are mediocre. They're fine. 2 drops are necessary. You can start from Morph. No, you need 2 drops. I think this set's faster, for sure.